Hi everyone, it's Mallory. Today I'm going to show you a sacroiliac joint release combined with a quad and hip flexor stretch. I really like putting the two of them together because we're going to target the back side of the pelvis and sacrum area a little bit. May feel a little release in your lumbar spine as well, but then we also get a chance to open up the front side, which a lot of times they play tug of war with each other. So getting both of them I feel like is really important. So we're going to start with sitting on the floor, and you're going to have the foam roller underneath your legs like this with bent knees. And you're going to lay back onto your back, bridge up, bring that foam roller to the back side of your pelvis. So you don't want to be in your low back. This will feel uncomfortable. That's not where we're trying to place the foam roller. You also don't want to be at your tailbone too much because you might feel like the foam roller is going to spit out from underneath you. So that sweet spot right in the middle, top back edge of your pelvis. And you're going to bring your legs up. I call it a lazy tabletop because I want your legs to just be relaxed here. We're going to start off with rotating from one side to the other. So rolling across, and in the back of your pelvis you might notice those two little bony bumps that you have. That's your sacroiliac joint, your SI joint. And we're going to notice, you might notice that one side is a little bit more tender than the other, and then the other side isn't. So we're going to start on the side that isn't so tender. We're going to see if we can make some changes on the tender side by releasing the not so tender side first. So we're going to circle both legs together. We're going to call these double leg circles. And you're rolling around the back side of one side of your pelvis. If you want to get more into the glutes a little bit, you can, that upper portion of your glutes, whatever feels good here for you. We're going to reverse the direction of your circles. Now we're going to find a spot that's kind of talking to us and wants a little bit more love and attention, and we're going to stay on that spot. Now we're going to do a single thigh bone circle. So you're going to circle the same thigh bone of the hip you're on. So if you're on the left side, then you're going to circle the left thigh bone. Stirring the inside of that hip joint, staying right on that spot. And we're going to reverse the direction. I feel like this is really important because it gives you a little bit of that manual therapy pressure from the foam roller with the movement of the muscles, the shortening and the lengthening of those fibers. And now we're going to do some marching motion so you can make them small. Or if it feels better for you to reach out and make a nice big marching motion, that's fine too. You choose whatever feels best for your body. Just know when you reach further, it's a little bit more lower abdominal support because you don't want to feel it pulling into your low back. Now we're going to bring our legs together and we're going to roll over and do the other side. So we have double thigh bone circle here. And we're going to reverse the direction. Once again, I'm doing about 5 reps. You can choose from 5 to 10 how much you want to do. And we're going to stay on a spot that's kind of talking to you in single thigh bone circle. And by the way, when you roll back over to, remember this is your second side, is your not so nice side. It was more tender. Okay, now we're going to roll over to the other side. So take a moment here and check in. By releasing that one side, the nicer side, the not so tender side, does your tender side feel a little less tender? Is it happier? Did that help to release the one side and release the other at the same time? Now we're going to roll on over to the other side, and I want you to take a moment here and see, by releasing your one side, which was not so tender, does it feel better on the side that was more tender? Okay. A lot of times it's the victims who cry. So the tender side may be tender because the other side is actually tight and holding. So now we're going to do double thigh bone circles here. And we're going to reverse our direction. Find a spot that's kind of talking to you, wants a little bit more love and attention. And we're going to do single thigh bone circles, stirring that inside of that hip while resting on that spot. Reversing your direction. And we're going to go into your marching motions. So remember, you can keep them small if you want, or you can make them big and reach all the way out. Whatever feels better for your body. Find a little bit of lower abdominal support if you are reaching those legs long. And we're going to bring our legs back into the center. So now we're going to work on a quad stretch, so the front of your thigh. We're going to take our right knee towards us and hold on to it. You can grab here on the lower leg below the knee, or you can grab behind the thigh bone, whatever feels better for you. Now we're stretching this leg, the foot that's on the floor. So we're going to bring your heel as close to your sit bone as possible to get a deeper stretch. Press down into the floor with that heel and actively feel like you're reaching your knee away from the front of the hip. And hopefully you notice a nice stretch through the front of the thigh. If you're not feeling that stretch, try scooting your heel a little closer to your sit bone. Once you have the down of the foot into the floor, the reach of the knee, we're going to windshield wipe that knee. So we're wiggling the knee in and out to find all the different angles of your quads. Remember, if we only just stretch straight on, we only get so far. We have different fibers that run at different angles, so this is nice to get more of a three-dimensional, well-balanced stretch of the quads. We're going to switch legs. Bringing that heel as close to your sit bones as you can. Push that heel down into the floor. Actively reach your knee away from the front of the hip and windshield wipe. Finding the different angles. Sometimes I like to find my tight angle and I like to hold it there for a minute. But I do know that some people prefer moving in and out of it. So you choose what feels best for your body. Now we're going to go into a hip flexor stretch. So we're going to hug that one knee in with our hands again. We're going to send the other leg long, opening up the front of the hip. So I love this hip flexor stretch because your back is supported. Gravity does the work for you. Now you can add an active lengthen away. You can play around with your heel resting on the floor. You can lift your heel off the floor and see which way you prefer. And then you can play around with your angles as well. Like a giant windshield wiper, moving that leg in and out. If you find a tight line, then you can stay at that angle and rest that heel down and let gravity do the work. And let's switch to the other side. Let that leg go long. Reaching out, energy out of the leg, out of the toes, and see if you can feel your center, your abdominals kind of lift up like a little internal elevator. And we're going to play around with your angles. Giant windshield wiper. If you find a tight line, you can stay there and let gravity do the work for you. Just relaxing into the stretch. Very nice. Now to come out of this, we're going to place one foot down and then the other foot down. With your knees bent, bridge up, push the foam roller towards your heels, and sit on up from there. I hope you enjoyed the sacroiliac release.